Hello, I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer for RealTime Fantasy Sports, and welcome to another edition of the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. On today's show, I'm joined once again by Logan Glaser, contributor here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. Logan, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jeff.
We're going to do another top 5 list for today. This time we're going to do top 5 rookies, and we're going to give you each our top 5 rookies for this coming season. Before we get to that, though, we want to quickly mention we have drafts going off around the clock now here at RealTime Fantasy Sports, Logan. I mean, you name it, we got times all over the place now. You want to sign up for a draft, you want to do it right now, go to rtsports.com and you can sign up for one, guaranteed, right?
It is so busy. It's 9:30 a.m. here, and we've currently already had 15 drafts already go off this morning, which is unbelievable. We got Best Ball Superflex filling up quickly. That should sell out in the next 24 hours. We've got RTFFCs selling out very quickly. RTFFC Pro, which got 12 spots left, and a lot of contests to sell out.
Yeah, if you want to get in one of these big contests, we suggest doing it sooner than later because, like Logan mentioned, they are all going to sell out. So do that sooner than later. You don't have to draft right away, but the season's starting quickly. So you want to sign up, pick your draft time later if you need to. Go to rtsports.com. All right, Logan, let's get into these top 5 rookies. We're going to make this pretty easy. We're going to each name our top 5 rookies and then go into each player a little more, little discussion because our lists are actually kind of similar, Logan. So why don't you go ahead and read your top 5 rookies first?
Yeah, my top 5, it's going to start with Dameon Pierce, Drake London, Breece Hall, Chris Olave, and George Pickens.
All right, my top 5, Dameon Pierce, same as you, Logan. Then I have Breece Hall, Chris Olave, Drake London, and our differ here is Treylon Burks. So let's go into the first one, though. Dameon Pierce, you have him first overall. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, he's absolutely shot up draft boards. I think he's the #1 player probably in the last 4 weeks to shoot up draft boards just based off of his preseason work. Marlon Mack just got released 2 days ago, and they were kind of debating if Marlon Mack was going to start this year as the #1 for Houston Texans with Pierce playing behind him, but now Pierce is the clear #1 almost in Houston, and he's being drafted now probably in the 5th or 6th round of RT Sports drafts compared to round 12 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you got a great bargain on him if you drafted earlier and you were able to get him in the mid rounds like you mentioned. Right now, he's about a 5th round pick in most leagues, and I think he's worth it at that point just because he's going to be a 3-down back. He's going to get work in the passing game as well, so I like his potential this year. And I have Hall 2nd. You had Hall?
I've got Hall 3rd.
3rd. Okay, so I still am not totally out on Hall despite the Michael Carter stuff with him opening the season #1. I still think Hall's the back there. He's going to get, he's typical goal line back as well. He's a big back. I'm not worried about him too much. I still think Pierce has a little higher upside though, which is why I have him first. Your thoughts on Hall?
Yeah, just the splitting of the carries with Carter just to start the season kind of scares me away from him a little bit, especially how early he's been going in drafts. I mean, he's been going really early in some of these drafts, especially a couple of weeks ago. He was going rounds 3 and 4. Now it's sliding back down to about where Pierce is. But my overall #2 is Drake London, based on the fact that he's going to start the season as Atlanta's #1 wide receiver. They also got Kyle Pitts there, so they're going to kind of split targets there. But I really like London in that office. He had a little bit of a scare during a preseason game with tweaking his ankle, but he should be good to go for the season.
Yeah, it's all about opportunity with London. I have him ranked 4th. Like you said, I think he's going to get a ton of targets on the offense. Just really has Kyle Pitts to compete with. 4 targets in that passing game. I have Olave 3rd. I really like him this year. I just think he's set up for great things. Could be a really pass-heavy offense in New Orleans. Michael Thomas has all sorts of injury concerns, in my opinion. And I think Olave is getting overlooked a little bit. I think he's set up for really good things.
Yeah, I had him as my #4. So I believe those exact same things. It's all about opportunity with these rookies, and he's slid into a great spot. You got the injury concerns with Michael Thomas. You got Landry getting up there in age, and really the #1 wide receiver spot is open in New Orleans for him to take.
So where we differ a little bit is this 5th spot. You have Pickens, I have Burks. I actually debated to put Pickens in there, but I went with Burks. I think Burks is another kind of like Jamar Chase last year. He's getting a lot of bad pub, I guess you could say, in mini camp, in training camp, because of different issues, and I just think he's getting pushed down too far for not a very good reason, in my opinion. I still think he's super talented. I think he's going to get a lot of work. Again, another situation where they don't have a lot of great receivers in Tennessee outside of Robert Woods. So I think Burks is going to really have a good year. You went with Pickens.
Yeah.
You can't argue that.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Like a year ago, Jamar Chase was dropping down boards. He was going in round 8 because of the preseason. He can't catch a ball and all of that. And then he goes around and becomes a first-round draft pick now this year. But I went with Pickens just because of how great he's looked during this preseason. Pittsburgh offense kind of scares me a little bit with, I mean, even QB week 1 is kind of unknown. It's looking like Trubisky, but it could also, who knows what they could do right there. But Pickens has been looking really solid. Deontay Johnson had a little injury scare in their first preseason game, so if he misses any time, I really like Pickens to step up there.
Yeah. Any other rookies you want to mention that didn't make the list that you're intrigued by this year that you're kind of looking at in drafts?
Running backs always kind of intrigue me just because in the last, I believe, 6 years, a rookie running back has finished in the top 4. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Walker, one, is a big question mark, I think. He was really being drafted as the number 2 rookie running back to start these drafts a couple of weeks ago, but he's kind of gone downhill big time. But the offense is a little questionable in Seattle, especially with Penny kind of having that lead role. But if Walker can regain that number 1 in Seattle, I like him.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by Rachaad White in Tampa Bay. Could be a good pass-catching back. They have a history of having very good pass-catching backs with Tom Brady as a QB. Also, 2 receivers I think that aren't getting enough love personally. Alec Pierce and Jahan Dotson in Washington. Mm-hmm. Both those guys are going to be number 2 options in their offenses, and they're very good players. And I think both of them are kind of getting overlooked. You can get them for next to nothing.
I really like Pierce in drafts, especially really late.
That's Could be a great red zone target.
That's a great flyer to take on.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good rookies this year. So those are our top 5, Logan. Again, I appreciate you joining me, as always, on the show.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again sometime soon.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff.
Yeah, no problem.
So we got a week away for the season.
Yeah, exciting times. We'll hit another top 5 list here before the start of the season. So this has been our top 5 rookies. I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer for RealTime Fantasy Sports.
And I'm Logan Glaser, contributing writing from RealTime Fantasy Sports.
Have a great day, everyone.